Want to do it, you want to do something big. It's deep down inside here, whether it's start a new career, start a business, start a YouTube channel, cut all your hair off, run a 10K, run a marathon. You want to do something. You know your purpose, your passions, they are not aligned right now, and you know that there is something greater for you out there. You're really just not sure how to get there, but more importantly, you are stuck romanticizing what it could be like. You are stuck romanticizing planning, and that keeps you from ever moving forward in action. So today we're going to talk about why we get stuck, like why we know we could do better, why we know we have so much more untapped potential, and yet we play it safe. We don't operate, we don't move around, and all of it primarily, honestly, is rooted in fear. Now, I don't mean like the boogeyman, like scary kind of fear. I mean fear like the kind of fear that paralyzes you and puts you in a place of inaction. So fear really is rooted in three places. There's the fear of the unknown, there's the fear of the what if, and there's the fear of the what was. I would argue that a lot of people would rather stay in a uncomfortable situation that they know instead of a prosperous situation that they don't know. The fear of the unknown is something that your mind has the capacity to come up with a million narratives. And honestly, most of those narratives are going to be negative narratives. I want you to think about something that you would want to change. Maybe you've been thinking about changing a career. Maybe you've been thinking about starting a business. Maybe you've been thinking of finally losing that weight. Maybe you've been thinking about getting out of that relationship or getting into a relationship. Like, just jot down, what do you know about it? So for example, say you wanted to travel and see the world. What could you say that you know about traveling? You know that you've got to get on an airplane. You know you've got to determine your destination. You know that you've got to pack accordingly for there. Like, you know so much more. You know so much more than what you don't know. But yet, even if you can make a list of 20 things, you'll get stuck on the 2 or 3 things that you don't know. And then you'll allow your mind to just create that narrative. Like, if I start this business and I've never started this business before, then I don't know like how to prepare. I don't know how to respond. I don't know if this happens what I should do. And the fear of the unknown keeps you really making somebody else's light shine, if I'm being perfectly honest. The second one is the fear of the what if. This is where a lot of people, this Virgo mind right here, can go crazy. I'll give you a perfect example for me. Like, even starting this video, this YouTube channel, this is my second video, and it was never a matter of the fear of the unknown, because if I'm being honest, I've had a YouTube channel before, like 15 years ago, and at the time I had like 10 or 12,000 subscribers, so I was pretty successful for that time period. But the what if is different now. What if my coworkers see me, or people that know me personally? What if they're like, you know, why is she doing this? Or what if I set up this video and nobody watches it? Or what if I'm just wasting my time and I could be doing something else and this isn't the purpose and the plan that God has aligned me in? What if, what if, what if, what if? Guess what? The what if is a dangerous place to be, because there is no gate or boundary around the what if. Whatever your mind wants to go there and do, it will do. So I want to play like a little game and give you kind of a way to get out of the what if. So I want you to think about what if the first thing that pops in your mind, whatever it is, the thing that you need to pursue, the passion, that if you, worst case scenario, what if? Okay. Then I want you to think about, okay, what if the best case scenario? So what if, what's the best case scenario? Then I want you to stop and I want you to think, what if I pursued this passion, this purpose, with everything I had for the next year? What would my life look like a year from now? So for example, if it was, I want to lose weight, what if I did the things that I knew how to do for the next year? What would I look like? That's where you should take the what if. What if it works out? What if it does this? And I get it, it's hard, but I'm going to talk about why the third one is the most dangerous, and why you take what if, plant that seed, and it turns into the fear of the what was. The fear of the what was is the hardest for people to get out of. And that's mainly because, honestly, the what was, there is a narrative you've experienced to know it was like that. That may have been, hey, this relationship, I gave it my all, it didn't work. Hey, we tried to pursue this venture, it didn't work. I thought that this was going to be my career opportunity or the promotion at work, it didn't happen. So you have a what was, and the what was is hard to get out because you've actually experienced the raw emotion of what could happen. I remember when my mother passed away suddenly, and I didn't have a what was narrative prior to that about somebody close to me passing away. So after that happened, anything that had to do with health or my kids or my husband or anything, it just, I was constantly on edge because of what was. What was is that someone that was everything to me passed away, and now I had a new vantage point for experiencing that emotion. But then you have to ask yourself seriously, you have a choice. Are you going to sit in the what was for the rest of your life, or are you going to come out of it? It's your life. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way of why we stay stuck in romanticizing planning, I want to talk about how you get out of that mode and get into the mode of actually executing. And the next step after identifying why you have these reservations and these fears is to actually start planning. However, this is where a lot of you get stuck. Planning. I want to lose weight. You go and buy the cute clothes. You think about the workout plan you're going to download. You say, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning workout. You come up with a plan and you don't execute. So what I would encourage you to do, the first thing is don't spend more than 24 to 36 hours on the initial plan. Write it down. And when I say 24 to 36 hours, I don't mean a day. Like 24 hours can be a decent chunk of time. If you work for something for 3 or 4 hours at a time, and you do that for 6 or 7 days over the course of a month, you have given yourself the groundwork for a plan. And not all plans need that kind of planning. Some plans, like, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, don't need 24 hours of planning. Starting a business from the ground up needs probably 24 hours of planning. But do not clock your time. Y'all, this little thing on Amazon is just a little timer. These are like $5. I constantly use these. I'm not spending more than an hour writing this out. I'm not spending more than 25 minutes on my phone. I'm not going to spend more than this amount of time doing this because it's not going to contribute to my overall goals. You will be shocked at how fast you can clock 24 hours when you're actually paying attention to the time. But I don't think that, as amazing as creatures as we are, that there isn't anything that you can't plan and have a good, strong foundation for any amount of time that is less than 24 hours. You will have a solid plan, sis. I promise you. So once you get past the planning phase, now you have to execute and do. So I want you to identify what is the first thing that you would have to do that would make it real, that would rip the band-aid off. So for like even this YouTube channel, it's uploading the video, because once you upload, it's gone. The planning was what are we going to talk about? The planning was what kind of equipment and camera, where are we going to set up, and what's it going to look like? I can't take it back is the uploading. It's out there. It's in the internet. It's in the stratosphere. So you have to figure out what's the action step that you can take that's immediately going to put you out there in the open. Because it's kind of like jumping in a pool. Not that I know how to swim, so that's not a good analogy, but I imagine you jump in the pool and you go. You're in there. You're submerged. Submerge yourself in whatever it is that you're afraid of and make it known. Make it public. Because then you have a choice to either follow through or you don't, but you've started and it's out there. The third thing that I would recommend to go ahead and move from being in this planning, romanticizing stage over into the actual execution stage is set up some kind of reward. If you do A, then you get B. And I don't mean that everything in your life you have to get a reward. But say you're like, okay, hey, I post this video, I'm going to go be able to go to the mall and buy that new pair of shoes. Or I train for this 5K and I nail it, I am going to go to dinner with my family. Or I'm going to start this business and I'm going to tell 10 people about it and send them the link to my merchandise. And as a result, I'm going to go get a facial. Like, if you can attach sometimes a reward to your big effort that can get you over the hump, then it feels like you've accomplished what you set out to do, but then also there's an incentive to do so. And ultimately the incentive should be to live the most passionate, purposeful, fulfilled life as you can, but it doesn't hurt to do a little retail therapy to get you started. So I hope this was helpful as far as moving from planning and fear to the actual execution. If you have any kind of doubts or reservations on moving on and get started, everybody does it. You have followed somebody on social media who's doing exactly what you want to do right now. You have watched somebody's video or TikTok or Instagram reel, and they are doing exactly what you want to be doing right now, and yet you are still watching videos. You are still not executing. It is time in 2024 for you to move on to the next level and go out and take the chances. Close your eyes. Who would you be if you pursued your passions a year from now? Close your eyes. Who would you be if you didn't pursue your passions a year from now? Worst case scenario, you'd probably be exactly where you are now, maybe a little worse off. But think about the best case scenario, who you truly have the potential to be that God designed you to be. I cannot wait for y'all to get out and stop the planning and actually get to the execution.